Today we are going to learn how to crochet an animal cactus. Magic ring. Hook a CH chain stitch, then hook the first loop. Hook 6 SC single crochet. First SC. Deduct notation deduction. After the 6 SC are completed, tightening the coil. With first stitch SSSL straight slip stitch. Tension loop. The first loop is complete. Then hook the second loop. First hook ACH. Second loop is 6-inch increase. Place the thread on top of the crochet hook to hide the thread. Fasten the first stitch with a marker button. Hook another SC in the same position. This is an ink. Put up the thread. We've got 6 inks in this loop. The rest is up to you. After the last stitch, you can cut the thread. Slip stitch with first stitch. Tightening the loop. Then hook the third loop. Hook a CH first. Hook a SC. Fasten off the first stitch with a marker button. 2 SC. Next stitch hook an ink. Two SC, 1 ink as a group. We are crocheting a total of 4 groups. Let's finish up by ourselves. After the last stitch of the third round, slip stitch with the first stitch. Third loop complete. Then hook the fourth loop. Hook ASC. And then a marking clasp. From the 4th lap, crochet 16 SC in a row until the 18th round. Finish the rest of the crochet by yourself. Crochet all the way to the 18th loop. Last stitch of the 18th loop. We are starting to change yarns. Winding yarn. Putting the wire on the back. Then wind the wire and bring it out. Then slip stitch with the first stitch. Tighten the loop. Next, let's crochet 19 loops. Place the yarn on top of the crochet hook. Next, we crochet the 19th round. Let's start by crocheting ACH. The thread is placed on top of the crochet hook. First, hook ASC. Fasten the first stitch with a marker button. Continue with 4 SC. We can cut the yarn. After hooking 5 SC, and then another ink. Then hook 5 SC. One ink. And finally 4 more SC hooks. Slip stitch with first stitch after crochet is complete. Tighten the loop. The 19th turn is complete. 20 more loops. Hook a CH first. Hook 3 SC. Fasten off the first stitch with a marker button. Next, hook an ink. Two SC. 1 ink. Then repeat the hook set 3SC. One ink. Two SC. One ink. And finally 3 SC hooks. One ink. Slip stitch with first stitch. The 20th loop is complete. Next hooks 21 to 25, or 23 SC in a row. Everyone finish the rest of the knitting yourself. Next, the 26th loop. Hook a CH first. Then hook 3 SC. The first SC is marked with a clasp. And then a deck decrease. Pick the outer half stitch, pick another outer half stitch. This is a deck. Then hook 2 SC. Hook another deck. Pick the outer half stitch. Pick another outer half stitch. Hook 3 more SC. One deck. Two SC. One deck. Then hook 3 SC. One deck. Slip stitch with first stitch. Tightening the loop. Then hook the 27th to 28th loop. Hook 18 SC in a row. Everyone finish your knitting. Next, the 29th loop. Hook a CH first, hook 9 December. Pick up the inner half of the needle. Inner half of the first stitch. Pick the inner half of the second stitch. Wrap the thread around and bring it out. It's a December. Mark a button on the first stitch. Demonstrate again. Pick the inner half of the third stitch. Pick the inner half of the fourth stitch. Crochet around the thread. Second deck. There are 9 decks in this loop. Next, you can do it yourself. Slip stitch with the first stitch. Hook ACH, tensioning the coil. Cutting the yarn to leave a long yarn to sew. Pulling out the loop. Then start stuffing the filler. Stuff the cactus with filler. A little bit of stuffing. Stuff it in as much as you can. Everyone finish stuffing this cactus body on their own. Let's close it up after we've stuffed it. Sewing with half stitches. Tightening the loop. A few more stitches. Hiding the yarn. We are done with the body of the cactus. Next, we'll hook the arm of the cactus. Magic ring. Hook ACH. Then hook 6SC. Tighten the coil. Slip stitch with first stitch. Take care to place the thread on top of the crochet hook. The first loop is complete. Then hook the second loop. Hook ACH first. Second hook 6 ink. This is the first stitch, a marker button. Needle in the same position. Hook another SC. 1 ink and you're done. Let's go back to crocheting. Here, cut the excess yarn. Continue knitting. 2 ink. Slip stitch with first stitch after crocheting is complete. Tighten the loop. The second loop is complete. Go on to the third loop. First hook ACH and then a SC. Then hook an ink. An SC, an ink as a group. Crochet 6 groups in total. Crochet the rest by yourself. And then the fourth loop. First hook ACH. Two SC. One ink. Two SC, 1 ink as a group. Crochet 6 groups in this loop. Please finish it yourself. After the fourth lap, let's hook the fifth loop. Let's start with edge. Then hook 12 SC. Fasten off the first stitch with a marker button. After the 12 SC have been hooked, we turn around and slip stitch with the first stitch. Remove the marker button. After the 12th stitch, slip stitch with the first stitch. Bring out the loops. Bringing out the coil again. Pull tight, hook ACH. Then we'll go to the 6th loop. From the first stitch, hook ASC through it. First SC. Crochet 12 SC in this round. Slip stitch with first stitch after crocheting. This loop is complete. Then we crochet the 7th loop. Crochet ACH. Hook 2 more SC. Then a deck. Pick 2 outer half stitches. Repeat for 3 groups. Two SC. 1 deck. Two SC. 1 deck. Slip stitch with first stitch. Continue with the 8th stitch. First hook ACH. Hook ASC first. Snap on the marking clasp. A deck. Repeat for 3 groups. 1 SC. A deck. ASC. A deck. Finish with the first stitch slip stitch. Cutting the yarn. Pulling out the loop. That's half the arm. Then we'll hook the other half of the arm. And now the remaining 12 stitches. This stitch is in. Take the thread out. Hook ACH. The thread goes on top of the crochet hook, making a stash of threads. This is the first stitch. A marker button. After hiding a few stitches, this one cuts off the excess yarn. Then finish the loop. Count the 12 SC. Then slip stitch with the first stitch. Stretch the loop a little bit. Slip stitch. Passing through. Tensioning the coil. Hook ACH. Then we hook 12 more SC. Fasten off the first stitch with a marker button. Last SC. Slip stitch with first stitch. We leave a long stitch. The thread is pulled out. Next, the stitching. Pick the outer half of each stitch. Tighten the loop. You're gonna need a few more stitches. And then you put the yarn through this gap in the middle. This hole here. Sew up the middle. Be careful not to pull this thread too tight. Don't pull it out of shape. Sew directly like this. Stitch by stitch. Half a stitch. That's it. When the stitching is done, we hide the excess yarn. Passing the thread through. Cutting off the excess yarn. Then stuff the filler. Take care to stuff it all the way in. Tuck it in a little bit. That's one complete arm, the other one you can crochet yourself. Take out the body of the cactus. Find where the slip stitch is. Put it on the back here. And then the green penultimate loop into the needle. We can compare the positions first. At this position, we can fix it first, and then into the needle. Take care to tuck the padding in a little more. Don't hook the stuffing when sewing. Starting to sew. Tighten every yarn. One by one. Tighten all the yarns. Go on. Next stitch. stitching up the excess yarn to hide it. Then take out the other one and sew it in the same way. Hide the yarn when you're done sewing. Cutting the yarn. The body of the cactus is done. Next, take out a piece of white yarn. Take 2 strands of the yarn. Sew in the pattern on top of the cactus. Stitching from the back. Leaving a small piece of yarn. And then we start sewing. You can make your own stitches according to your preference. Then go back to the point where you entered the needle. Tie a knot. Pull this knot in. Thread a few more stitches. Cutting the yarn. The body of the cactus is complete. Next, we'll crochet the vase. Crochet hook through the loops. Hook ACH first, then hook 6 SC. First SC. Buckle up and mark the buckle. Tightening the coil. Then slip stitch with the first stitch. Remove the marker button. Place the thread on top of the crochet hook. Continue through the loop. First lap complete. Then hook the second loop. First hook ACH. Second hook 6 ink. We place the thread on top of the crochet hook. Two SC in the same stitch. That's 1 ink. And then the first stitch is a marker button. We can cut off the excess thread. Go ahead and finish the rest of the ink. Slip stitch with first stitch when finished. The second loop is complete. Hook the third loop. 1 SC. Buckle up and mark the buckle. N ink. One SC, 1 ink as a group. Crochet 6 groups. Slip stitch. The third lap is complete. Let's move on to the fourth loop. Hook a CH first. Then hook 2 SC. One ink. Two SC, 1 ink as a group. Crochet 6 groups. Please finish it yourself. Next, hook the fifth loop. Hook a CH first. Then hook a SC. Next, hook an ink. Next, hook 2 more SC. 1 SC, 1 ink. 2 SC as a group. Crochet 6 groups. Next, crochet the 6th loop. Hook a CH first. On the 6th round we will hook an inner half stitch. This round we crochet 30 SC in a row. Slip stitch with the first stitch after crocheting. Tighten the loop. Then the 6th loop is complete. Then we hook the 7th loop. Let's start with ACH. Then hook 30 SC. For the last stitch of the 7th loop we need to make a color change. Take out the dark colored yarn. Threads on the back. Wrap the wire and bring it out. Slip stitch with first stitch. Tightening the loop. Let's move on to the 8th loop. Let's start with edge. The thread is placed on top of the crochet hook. Hide the yarn a bit. Start by hooking 12 SC. You can start by cutting a short piece of yarn. Switch back to white yarn on the 12th stitch. Bring out the yarn. White yarn hook 7 SC. At the end of the 7th stitch, switch back to the original yarn. At this point, loosen the thread at the back a little bit. Pinch the yarn, bringing out the thread. Keep hooking 11 more SC. After the last stitch of the 8th loop, slip stitch with first stitch. Next, hook the 9th stitch. Hook a CH first, then hook 13 SC. Fasten the marking clasp. On the 13th SC, we'll start changing lines. Switch to white yarn. Make the back a little looser. Hook 5 SC in white yarn. Knit the 5th SC in. Continuing with the better khaki-colored yarn. Hook 12 more SC. Finish the round by yourself. Next, the 10th loop. First hook ACH. Yarn in khaki. Crochet 14 SC. Button up the marking clasp. After 14 SC, change the white yarn. Continue crocheting 3 SC. For the 3rd SC, we switch back to the khaki-colored yarn. This is a little looser. Next, keep crocheting. Continue until the end of the loop. Please finish on your own. Next, hook the 11th loop. First hook ACH. Khaki-colored yarn, crochet 15 SC first. Fifteenth stitch. Change to white yarn. White yarn, hook a SC. Back half a stitch. Switching back to khaki yarn. Then continue to crochet 14 SC. Next, crochet a 12 SC, hook a CH first, then again with khaki colored yarn. Hook 15 SC. A marker button can be fastened on the first stitch. Change to white yarn on the 15th stitch. Hook a SC. Next, change to khaki colored yarn. Hook 14 more SC. This time we'll hide the white yarn. Place the white yarn on top of the crochet hook. Continuing to hide the yarn. After 5 or 6 stitches, you can cut the yarn. Slip stitch with the first stitch. Tightening the loop. Next, hook the 13th loop. That's 30 SC in a row. Crocheting on your own. Next, we'll crochet the last loop. This loop is a straight SL. Hook 12 cells first. Take the line out, then bring it right through the coil. This is the first SL. We can snap a marker hook. "12 hooks in all. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then in the next stitch, hook ASC, HDC half double crochet in the same stitch. Crochet around the thread, passing the tip thread from the same stitch. There are now 3 loops on the crochet hook and the wound thread is brought through in turn. Then hook another SC inside this stitch. Continue with ASL in the next stitch. Hook 6 SL. Then hook ASC in the next stitch, and then an HDC in the same stitch. Wrap the thread through all the loops in turn. Then hook another SC. And finally 10 more SL. Put the thread at the back. Tightening the coil. Cutting yarn. Then take out the sewing needle. Hide the excess yarn. And so a flower pot is crocheted. Next, a strand of black yarn. Let's crochet the kitten's face. Kitten's mouth. We found this location. And then in the middle, this place, to sew up its mouth. I'll press the thread from behind. From here, through here, passing through here, and then through the middle of the two black yarns. Don't pull it too tight. The kitten's mouth is now complete. Next, we'll sew the kitten's eyes. At the junction, more stitches back and forth. And then on the opposite side symmetrically. Fourth stitch to the back. Find the left symmetry. Threading out. Don't pull it too tight. Finally, hide the excess yarn. Cut in the yarn. Take out our cactus. Put it in a kitten's flower pot. And